Thank you. Thank you, Representative Jones. Now.
Yeah, good question. And I've actually been asked a couple times, so you a lifer? You going to do this for life? And I know, right? And he's in the room. That's why he's asked me a couple times. And my first reaction was like, "Are you kidding me? No way. It's just not me. I never ran with that intention." One of the representatives in the House that sits right next to me has brought legislation with term limits, or at least he's had it created. I don't know if he's put it forward yet. I don't think I've seen it yet. So, and so we've had a lot of discussions. Good things about not having it is you have folks like our majority leader who's in leadership, Jene Vickrey, who has 22 years of experience and wisdom. And that, for a person who's been doing this for a year, means a whole lot. That's what makes it difficult, is because when you do the term limits, you start to lose people who have been there a long time. And one of the things that I'm very frightened about is the idea that all of us record-breaking freshman class, 50-some freshmen who now have to run again in the House, and they're like, "Ooh, I got to get bills for it," and so you start dealing with bills that are, what are you doing? You're just wasting taxpayer time and money. And so that wisdom is important. Yet at the same time, let's pass it on to somebody else. So that being said, I'm really big on mentoring. I don't know if it works in politics. I don't know. But that being said, if for me personally, if I can find somebody that I believe in that can do this better than me, and would come alongside me for a year or two and be able to learn it, or I could pass that on to them, I would do it in a heartbeat. I think mentoring is the key there, and having people who, not necessarily to take their, this is the way you should think, but just to learn the ropes. Because we can say term limits, yeah, it's a great thing, but we got to do it with wisdom, because if we don't, we're gonna start getting some legislation that just wastes a lot of money. So so yes, I am for term limits, but I think we should do it with wisdom. Think about it carefully, and then mentor our way into that. So, and to wrap things up, I do want to thank you guys for being here. If you don't get my newsletter already, or don't see it in the paper, or you've never seen anything, please give me your email address, and I will send that to you. Also, you can call me if you have concerns. Talk to me. Let me know your name, and I do give out my cell phone number too. So if you want to call me, I pick up the phone on the floor if there's something real heated. But yeah, that's it. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
We talk about term limits, and we kind of confuse what's going on at the federal level, what's going on at the state level. I support term limits at the federal level, and because we do have people that go there and they stay and they stay and they stay. But at the state level, last year we had 54 new House members out of 125. This is my 10th year in the Senate. Take a guess how many senators have been there longer than I have. If you guessed 4, you would be correct. So we have quite a bit of turnover. When you talk to legislators from other states that have a 2-term term limit, so you can run 8 years in the House, 8 years in the Senate, the problem you have is you have somebody that's been there 4 years, and all of a sudden they're chairing a major committee. All of a sudden they're Speaker of the House or they're President of the Senate. And so where does that institutional knowledge go? And where that knowledge goes are to the bureaucrats that staff the legislature. That institutional knowledge goes to the lobbyists. And so if you want to take the power away from the people you elect and give it to bureaucrats and lobbyists, then have some short term limits. Now, if you kept them 16 years, 20 years or so, but we do have a natural term limit, as they're called elections. We have them every so often. And so I think that if people are not doing a good job, we get somebody else in there to do a good job. So in Kansas, it's not a problem. We've passed over some of those things that have been fads in other states, And so I think that's healthy for us. I'm okay with where we're at. A couple of things that we've dealt with. The Attorney General brought a bill forward that would allow enforcement for the no-call list for your cell phone. We passed that out of committee. We'll probably have that on the Senate floor next week or so. When the bill was written, cell phone technology wasn't as robust or abundant as it is today, and so it really wasn't included. It was just for landlines. The federal statute allows it. This would just give him enforcement power over the federal regulations. So that'll be good for if you have telemarketers that are calling you. It seems like we get more and more of those. The intermodal opened up last fall. They're expecting 500,000 containers per year to come into that facility. That is going to be huge for our area. It's going to create a lot of business opportunities, a lot of employment opportunities. And if you see the ocean containers that go up and down the highways, that's typically what's going on. Two of the new facilities, I think one's open, one's under construction or soon to be under construction. They're export facilities. So a lot of our agricultural products will be filled in those shipping containers sent back overseas. So we get benefits both ways. The facility is designed to go to 1.5 million containers per year, so it's a third of what they can go to. Quite remarkable. And I'm fortunate to have that just in the north end of my district. So we've had some concern over propane costs, and it's a regional issue because of the grain drying, some of the agricultural things, the colder winter that we've had this year. But it's also, there's a lot of propane that's shipped to the northeast through pipelines. And so all of the cold weather that's going to the northeast is drawing down our propane reserves. In Conway, in McPherson County, they store propane in the salt mines, and about 30% of the U.S. reserves are right here in our state. We had prices in Houston that were about $1.50, $1.60 a gallon, and with the shortage, they were spiking here. A couple of times they went over $5. And talking with folks, it seems that they tend to overreact when there's a shortage. Now they're down around, I think, about $2. They've reversed some, FERC has the authority to come in and reverse some pipelines, and so they've created more reserves there, and I think we're seeing some warmer weather. So you might watch that next year. If there's an opportunity to enter into contracts with your supplier, they can reserve some and keep those prices a little lower. If you know somebody that is between 135% and 185% of poverty that's having problems paying their propane costs, there's a grant, I think it's $511 or something like that, but it's for those folks that meet that group. If you're under 135%, then there's some other help you can get. So if you know some people that are really struggling, maybe on fixed incomes, I might be able to get some help there. But anyway, very much enjoyed today. Great questions, and you guys are always a great group, so thank you very much.
I just add on the term limits that our average length of service was in the House 3.5 years, and I don't know what that would be now. It's probably come down. Our average, it's kind of like a batting average. We may have dropped below 3 years, but that's something I would just comment that we've not seen. I don't know, is that a bill that one of your seatmates is sponsoring, or Virgil? So we've not seen it yet, and every day one of my responsibilities is that we look at the bills as they come in and we assign them to committees where they fit, and we don't shrink back from hearing anything on the floor. I really believe that democracy works best when we do our job well, and so any bill that comes out we will bring up and debate. We are restricted with the constraints of time. Next week we'll be inundated with the committee process. It's been working now for a few weeks. We're going to be inundated with the number of bills that come out, and the following weeks when we'll be on the floor for several days, and we only have, even though we're willing to work into the evening. We only have so much time, and we're trying to prioritize and bring the issues to the floor that benefit the state. I would mention just real quickly something that's a positive that I believe that we're hope to get done this year. I was originally on the Autism Task Force, and we've done the pilot program, and we've got an agreement between Autism Speaks and the industry, and hopefully we'll get that done this year. Thank you for coming out today, and there's been great questions and a great morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go, I would like to thank our sponsors once again, Agler Gaddard, First Option Bank, Landmark National Bank, Life Care Center of Osawatomie, and Moon's Hometown Market. Please have a good day, and let's give one more hand to our legislators.
Sir, you seem to have overlooked the question that was presented. It wasn't answered. I wonder now how I can get an answer from the people there to our questions regarding the mortgage registration tax and the grants we received from Heritage Trust Fund.
You know what, I'd like to have you catch them afterwards, if you would.
They've had it read and answered in front of the people.
Right. 8:30 is when they want me to get out of here.
I understand.
You guys want to go ahead and just answer quickly?
On the was it on mortgage registration tax?
Heritage Trust facility by the mortgage registration tax. We received 2 grants totaling $60,000, which would be in jeopardy if that mortgage registration tax is repealed.
There's
Here in Miami County, more contractors involved that we will distribute the money to New Lancaster to restore historical treasures at New Lancaster General Store, New Lancaster Bank.
on the amendment that we're looking at that would phase out the mortgage registration tax. The penny that stays in there for the Historical Trust Fund stays in there for another 7 years or so. There would have to be, convert that over to a per page fee, get part of that, but it's taken care of in the amendment that we've been working on.
Yeah, the grants that have been issued would not be in jeopardy, is what your question is, so thank you. And I'd like to thank you. It's a great job this morning.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Thank you again. Let's give them a hand for coming out.